Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Natalia Leigh. I am an indie author, full-time freelance editor, and the creator of the Preptober workbook. And I am here to reveal the 2021 Preptober workbook, answer a few questions I've received about it, and tell you a little bit more about it. So today, if you are watching this on release day, is October 1st, 2021, release day of the 2021 Preptober workbook. For anybody who does not know what Preptober is here in the writing community, Preptober is a month of prepping and preparing for NaNoWriMo, National Novel Writing Month, which happens in November. And of course there are a couple of like camp NaNoWriMos throughout the year, but NaNoWriMo in November is the big one. It's the one that I look forward to the most, that a lot of people look forward to, and I am just so excited because I'm going to be participating this year. I'm going to be writing a new book. I will have a video out on that shortly talking about what I'm going to be writing, and I'm going to be using the workbook. So if you are doing NaNoWriMo, this workbook is going to help you plan and prepare everything you need in order to write 50,000 words in November. You can use this workbook if you are writing a brand new book, definitely. It's going to be the most helpful to somebody who's writing a brand new book, but it can still be helpful if you are writing a series, if you've been writing within this world for a while. It can be helpful to anybody who's going to try to write a book in November for NaNoWriMo, but definitely helpful to anybody who's going to be writing a brand new book. This is my 5th year putting out the Preptober workbook. So last year, 2020, I did quite a large overhaul on the workbook. I added a ton of new pages, a lot of new teaching content. And this year, when I was looking through everything that I had added to the workbook for 2020, I was honestly really proud of myself. I have put so much effort and so much work into this workbook, you guys. This year, it's 80 pages. 80. This thing is growing into a behemoth. It is getting bigger and bigger every year. So, like I was saying, last year for 2020, I added a ton of new super helpful pages. Pages like, let me look at my table of contents real quick. And also, let me get this smudge off my lens. Last year I added pages for developing writing routines, figuring out your writing schedule, which can be helpful at any time of year, but definitely during NaNoWriMo. Something that I bring back every single year is the basics of your good book page. If you are somebody who has used the workbook, you'll know what I'm talking about there. Villain, I added a bunch of villain pages last year because I really love to see nice, strong villains. Villains who want more out of life than just ruling the world to rule the world. So I added a ton of pages last year. In terms of what I added this year, I have had quite a few people ask me, you know, is the content exactly the same as the 2020 workbook? How are these different? So like I was saying, I'm very proud of all the work that's gone into this. So the majority of this workbook is the same as the 2020 version. I have added to it. I try to add to it every single year for those people who have used it previously so that they're always getting something new. So in terms of what I added this year, I didn't add any teachable content. Like teachable content, I'm referring to the pages where I give you, you know, tips and tricks for building your villain or developing writing routines, setting a writing schedule for yourself, stuff like that. I didn't add any teachable pages. This year, I added pages for organization. I added to-do lists. I absolutely love a good to-do list, a good bullet journal, a planner. So I added a bunch of pages that are going to help you kind of organize yourself and everything you need to do in October, Preptober, leading up to NaNoWriMo. But then I also added pages that will help you keep track of your weekly progress, weekly review pages where you can track how things have been going, share your overall thoughts, and then hopefully what I'm hoping this workbook becomes for people is you can then look back on it years from now and remember what you were going through during that time. So let me go ahead and give you a peek at a couple of the pages. I'll give you a sneak peek at pages that I added last year for 2020, and I'll give you a sneak peek at some pages that I added this year as well. But of course, there are 80 pages in this workbook. Here's the table of contents. It takes up 2 full columns on this 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. So I can't go through everything, but I will show you some of my favorite pages. So let's go ahead and dive right into that. All right, just a fun page, a page I have every year. Color your way to 50K, so every single time you write 1,000 words, you can color in like a little autumn doodle, just something to have fun with. A master to-do list. I always feel like there are a million things that I have to do in order to prepare for NaNoWriMo, so I added a master to-do list, and then I added kind of daily to-do lists so that leading up to NaNoWriMo, you can plan and prepare what you need to do day by day rather than just one master list if you're somebody who likes more like daily planning versus just a monthly planner. Some of my favorite pages, we have a word count calendar, so it has the day, the goal that you want to write, the actual number of words you write, and the recommended by NaNoWriMo. We have a word sprint tracker. Word sprints save me during NaNoWriMo every single year. I added a self-care bingo last year, some pages for setting goals. A lot of pages in here now, in addition to all the teachable pages, are about setting goals, keeping track of progress, stuff like that. I really just enjoy that stuff, so I hope you guys do too. Writing routines, writing rituals. Here is a page that I added last year. This is my writing schedule. I filled this out last year on my channel, and I really enjoyed it. I didn't end up participating in NaNoWriMo last year, but when I sat down and filled all this out, it felt like it was going to be incredibly helpful in terms of structuring my days, which days I could realistically write, how much time I could realistically spend on writing, because I feel like, especially for NaNoWriMo, we can set some very lofty and oftentimes unrealistic goals for ourselves. So that page, along with one other page, will help you to set realistic writing routines and a schedule for yourself. Some more teachable pages. I have a page all about point of view. I have a page about tense, like past tense, present tense. You can try it out, figure out what feels best for you and your story. I've written both in first person and third person, present tense and past tense, and really it just varies from book to book depending on the character and how I feel about it, so that might be helpful. Even if you're somebody who has experience with writing in, you know, different tenses and point of views, that could still be helpful. Now let me show you something I added for this year, something that I'm really looking forward to using. In the back of the workbook, we have weekly review pages. So the front of the workbook, it's kind of a mishmash, to be honest, but in the front of the workbook, there are pages for planning during Preptober and what you need to do leading up to November in NaNoWriMo. And then at the back of the workbook, there are weekly review pages for once we are actually participating in NaNoWriMo. There is a fly in here. So these weekly review pages, you're able to write down how many new words you wrote that week, how many total words you've written within the month, some successes and struggles of the week, lessons learned, because you're going to learn so much about writing, storytelling about yourself during NaNoWriMo. It's always an eye-opening experience for me. Any new ideas you have, you can write down new ideas so that if you are still actively developing your story, which I'm assuming most people will be throughout NaNoWriMo, or especially if you are a pantser, you're writing by the seat of your pants and you don't have an outline, you don't like to plan in that way, this little box here for new ideas would be really helpful. And then there's an overall thoughts box at the bottom so that you can kind of fill out how you're feeling, how NaNoWriMo is going for you. And then when you're done with NaNoWriMo, after you kind of fold this up and put it back on the shelf, you can always return to it in later years and look back on these weekly review pages and reminisce and be nostalgic. I absolutely love doing that. I will oftentimes pull old bullet journals off of my bookshelf and just look back. Like October 1st, I might look back at all the other October 1sts just to see what I was doing, what I was up to, what life was like, what I was succeeding at and struggling with. So that was kind of my hope for these pages. I have started using the workbook not only for help planning and preparing for NaNoWriMo and, you know, plotting a new book, but also as a way to kind of keep track of each project I've been working on. It kind of in a way becomes an element of my series Bible or story Bible, so that I can always pull this off the shelf and say, hey, I want to look back at what I wrote in 2021 and see how it was going for me then. So I am really looking forward to using those weekly review pages. So like I said, 80 pages. This thing is huge. Again, if you are somebody who used the workbook in 2020, the teachable, like I said, teachable content is going to be the same, but there are additional pages for to-do lists, planning, preparing, everything you need to do in October leading up to November, and then also all of those weekly review pages in the back so you can keep track of your progress during the month. If you are somebody who used the workbook in previous years, let's say you used it in 2017 and 2018, and then you skipped 2019 and 2020, then this thing is chock full of brand new content that you did not get to use and enjoy in the 2017, 2018, or 2019 versions. So 2020 was really the big overhaul for the workbook, and then this year I added probably 8 or 10 new pages. So you're still going to get brand new content even if you have used this workbook every single year. Now, if you are interested in getting the workbook, how do you get your hands on it? This workbook is 100% donation based. You can get this workbook on my website, www.natalialeigh.com. It will be linked down below. Once you go to the website, you can just click Preptober Workbook. It's in the navigation bar up top. You click on that, you're going to get a bit more information about the workbook. We have some cute little pictures on there, and then there's a button that says Add to Cart. This is different this year. So the past 4 years that I have put out this workbook, it was a donation that you would send via PayPal. I would receive an email telling me, hey, so-and-so donated, for the workbook. And then you had to type your email into a little note box. I had to take your email, put it into a new email, type you an email, attach the workbook, and send it. So it was a very slow process. There were some people who would donate and then they would wait a week to get their workbook just because I was behind with sending them. And I didn't want to do that this year. I wanted to make sure that if somebody donated, they could get their workbook right away and they could get started right away, and they didn't have to wait for me to wade through all my emails and send them their workbook. So this year is different. I'm very excited for it. You hit the Add to Cart button on the website. A little dialog box will pop up saying, Preptober Workbook 2021, and then you put in your donation and you hit Buy Now, or honestly, I'm not really sure what the button says, but you put in your donation amount and you hit the little forward button, and you will immediately be prompted to download the PDF of the workbook. So you don't have to wait for me. You're going to be able to download it right away. I won't be falling behind. I'll be able to keep up with my work. So it is positive. It is a good thing all around. And I'm so grateful that I found a service to help me provide this workbook for donations. So once you donate and you download your PDF, then you print it out. I went to UPS and I printed this out and I had it bound. I do this every year because, like I said, I like taking my workbooks and keeping them on my bookshelf so I can pull them out every year and look back on what I was doing. So I like getting mine bound. You can see it's a little bit shiny because it has a plastic cover on it, and then it's spiral bound. But I'm going to warn you now, when I went to the UPS store and I had this printed, I told them I wanted it in full color because of course we have some beautiful a beautiful cover here, and there are some nice illustrations throughout, and I just wanted those to be in color. I'm gonna give you a little warning though. They printed it on like the high quality color printer, and I wasn't aware that it was 60 cents per page, and at 80 pages it was super expensive. So you can definitely go to UPS and get this printed and bound. If you do so, you might consider getting it printed in black and white, because black and white is way cheaper than getting it printed in color. Or you could go get it printed in black and white and then maybe just print the front cover in color. You could print it at home. You could ask them to do that for you at UPS and then just do that one in color, because most of these pages are black and white, but if you tell them that you want full color at UPS, they're gonna charge you the full color price for even the black and white pages. So I went through the pain of that and the shock of hearing what this workbook cost me to actually get printed. So just be aware of that. Of course, you could just print it off at home if you want. You could put it in a 3-ring binder. I think I did that I might have done that the very first year. I can't remember. It's been 5 years now, but you could very easily print this at home. Like I said, the majority of the pages are black and white, so it's not going to chew through all of your color, and you can always print in black and white too if you want to just avoid using your colored ink for the front color and the illustrations throughout. You can put it in a 3-ring binder. You can staple it if you want to. You can do whatever you need to keep this on hand and keep it handy for NaNoWriMo. So that is probably all I have to say about it right now. There is a fly buzzing around in here. If you have any questions about the workbook, feel free to leave those down below and I will try to get them all answered for you. Some of the questions will be answered on my website, so make sure to check out that link if you are interested in picking up the workbook. Every year I really enjoy reposting photos and videos of people who are using it. So if you post a photo of the workbook on Instagram, please let me know. You can tag me. I'm at Natalia A. Leigh, and then I'm gonna try to repost some of those photos. I'm really excited for NaNoWriMo this year, so I really wanna like get into the spirit. I am also going to be filming videos of me filling this workbook out. I am definitely participating in NaNoWriMo this year. I am absolutely terrified because I have not written a word of my own stories since September of 2020. So it has now been a full year since I have written creatively for myself. So I'm pretty terrified, but I think NaNoWriMo is going to be the perfect way to just dive in, like just write a brand new story. I'm going to be planning a brand new story using the Preptober workbook, so I'll definitely be filming that content here on my channel. If you are not sure yet if you want to pick up the Preptober workbook, no worries. Like I said, I will be doing some videos on the channel, so you'll get a deeper look at some of the pages, any of the pages that I'm going to be filling out. I'll probably do my writing routines again. My writing schedule, I'll probably do some of the character pages, definitely brainstorming new ideas, basics of my good book. Like I'm definitely going to be doing a lot of that stuff. I'm probably not going to show you like outlining pages or anything like that because spoilers, but we'll just see. I definitely am going to be sharing some of this content. So thank you guys so much for being here, for sharing this time with me and learning about the Preptober workbook. Like I said, you can leave any questions you have in the comments down below and I'll do my best to answer those for you. The workbook, if you are seeing this video, it is now live. You can head on over to the website and get it right now. You should be able to download it right away and get started. So please let me know if you're using it. Tag me on Instagram, shoot me a message or something. Let me know if you do any like videos with it because I will reshare those here on my channel. It's a great way for other writers who are not sure yet if this is going to be helpful to kind of take a look at it and see what other people think about it. I recently reposted a video of a review from last year, a review of the 2020. So I'm gonna link that down below. If you want to see a review of the 2020 version, definitely check that out. That'll be linked down below just so that you guys kind of know what you're getting in this 80-page workbook. But that is all I have for you today. I am so excited for NaNoWriMo. I'm going to be here for all the NaNoWriMo content. I'm gonna be doing vlogs for Nano. I'm just like going to dive headfirst into the Nano experience and I cannot wait. So again, thank you guys so much for being here. Leave comments and questions below and I will see you in my next video. Bye!